Back in the trenches. Put the arm on. Got in the trenches, we put in the work. Enemy looking, but we never hurt. So I let him get the truth on the belt. Bringing that heat that the devil gon' melt. Yeah, we holding the line. I wake up every morning, gotta put the heavy armor on. Fight against the darkness from the midnight to the early dawn. They throwing the dust, but they hitting the shield. I'm standing my ground, I refuse to yield. Like the bull say tight, we stepping precise. We already pay it, he covered the price. Listen to the horns going off like a
good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening.
And we coming out iron. Hold up. Check the perimeter. Keep your eyes open. The battle is physical, battle is spiritual.
Good evening, come on in, come on in.
Down in the trenches, we put in the work. Enemy looking, but we never hurt. Sorting the heat, get the truth on the belt. Bringing the heat that the devil gon' melt. Yeah, we hold it.
Come on in, come on. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Kitchen Talk with JK on tonight. Come on in. Say hello, good evening to everyone on tonight. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening, good evening, good evening to everyone on tonight. Go ahead and get yourself together. Go ahead and get what you need on tonight. We're here on Kitchen Talk with JK. Good evening to you TikTok, those who are joining in. Somebody say hello, good evening. Let me hear you in the comments. Let me see you in the comments. I see you coming on in. Say hello, good evening. We're going to begin shortly here. Go ahead and like and share on tonight. As you come on in, go ahead and like and share on tonight. Good evening to you TikTok. Who we have on TikTok? We have, I can't see everybody on here, but whoever you are, thank you for joining. Whether you just sliding on through or whether you're going to be here to stay, thank you for tuning in on tonight. Mary's on TikTok. Good evening, Mary. Good to see you again on tonight. We're grateful for all those who are joining in. We're giving a little time. Grateful to be on time on tonight. All right, go ahead and like and share. Go ahead and like and share. Whoever may be joining in, go ahead and like and share. We're going to go ahead and get started on tonight. Give a few more people the time to come in. Go ahead and hit me some hearts on TikTok and also on Facebook as well. I know there's a lot going on in this weekend, a lot of graduation, but hey, we're going to continue to do what we do on tonight. And those who are not here, they can pick us up on the replay, but we're going to do what we do on tonight, and that is to give you food for your body and your soul. So welcome to all of those who are joining in on tonight. We're going to give a few minutes for everyone to come on in, and those who are going to join, and then we're going to go ahead and get started and rock this thing out and let you get back to your evening on tonight. So let's see, we got a few people but coming in, but say something, let us know that you are here. But we hope everybody had a great week on this week. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of those who have ordered, those who have purchased, those who have ordered their meals on this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to give a big shout out also to Longview on last week. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your support on last week. We thank you for those who purchased and all that. If you didn't get the purchase, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to tell you, you missed the treat on last week. So we're grateful. Good evening to you, Sharon. Thankful for you joining on tonight.
I don't like my
but we are here to get started with Kitchen Talk with JK. We got something I told you we're going to talk about on tonight. We're talking about on tonight, know your value. Do you know your value?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be talking about on tonight. Do you know your value? And this is it's kind of a heavy topic on tonight. Some of you may say, yeah, I know what my value is, but we're going to get into it on tonight because in this time and season that we live, it's important that you know your value. It's important that you know your value. It's very important. I can't stop saying it, rather, that you know your value. Also, we got some cooking going on tonight, and we're going to tie all this in about the value of what we do, the value of cooking and the value of the meals and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that on tonight. But I want to ask you a question. Do you know your value? Do you know your value? I'm going to ask you that on tonight. Do you know your value? I want to hear you in the comments on tonight. Do you know your value?
A lot of different stuff.
Can he cook?
Do you know your value?
What you know your value got to do with?
Do you know your value? I'm asking you a question. Do you know your value? I want to hear. I see TikTok is talking. Can you give me some words of what TikTok is saying? If they're saying anything, do you know your value? And while we're waiting, go ahead and get your beverage, whether it be your water, whatever it may be. Go ahead and get it on tonight. I've already started prepping, but go ahead and answer that question. Do you know your value? Do you know your value?
Nobody's answered on TikTok just yet. Everybody's just joining in. Come on in. They're saying, hey, how you doing?
Hey. Come on in. Good evening to you, Renee. Good evening. Do you know your value? While y'all come think about it, this week, coming up this week, be prepared. We might have some things coming on back from last week, but be prepared for this week. Once again, the drops on Monday. On Wednesday is the last day to be able to purchase that order, to order and purchase your order for the week. So make sure that you be in position. Make sure you look for the flyer and make sure you do it on time. All right. So do you know your value? And if the question is, some of you might say, yeah, I know my value, but the thing of it is that we have not always known our value, right? Some of you might say, well, I've been knowing my value for as long as I can remember, but for the most of us, we have not always known our value, right? Right? So we're going to talk about it tonight, knowing your value, knowing who you are, and knowing what you're supposed to be doing in this time in this season. So I want to give a few minutes, just let that sink in, knowing your value. I keep repeating that because I think it's important in this time and season that we know, because a lot of times somebody else, brother, has given us the definition of our value, rather than we know in our own self what is your value. So I'm gonna just let that sink in for a minute. Good evening to you, to you, Xavier. Do you know your value? Do you know your value? We're going to talk about it tonight, because I'm not talking about the value placed on you when you were useful to people. I'm not talking about the value of likes and the values of money and the values of approval, but do you know the value that God has placed on the inside of you before anybody ever had an opinion about you? I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. I'm not talking about the value of likes and titles and money and or approval, but do you know the value of God, or the value God placed on the inside of you before anybody ever had an opinion about you? I'm going to let that sink for a minute, because many times that what we live on is the opinions of others. And that's what gives us value, about what people say, what people do, what they say towards us. That dictates our value. But do you know the value God placed inside of you before anybody ever had an opinion about you? And I always say, before I even come on these lives and all this kind of stuff, it's already hit home to me before I even talk to you, because many times in life we have been getting opinions of others of who we should be, or who we are, who they thought we are, or what we should be, and we never know our own identity. We got a little fly hit on tonight, but that's okay. But we never know the value of who we really are. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Do you know your value? Do you know who you are without the lights? Do you know who you are without the approval of others? Do you know who you are? That's what we're talking about. Do you know who you are? Let me give a pause for the call, because somebody trying to kill this fly in the midst of this live. But do you know who you are? So that's the question that we need to know. Do you know who you are? Can I get some answers over here in TikTok? Can I get some answers over here in Facebook? Do you know who you are? I'm waiting. And I know sometimes people might want to say, yeah, I do. I know who I am. But do you really know who you are? Because if you knew who you are, you would be operating in the things that you should be operating in. I'm speaking to myself as well. You'll be doing the things that you know you need to do because you know who you are. But a lot of times we allow people to dictate who we are and whose we are by the things that they think that we should be. All right? So question again, do you know who you are? Because that's the thing that we have to determine before we move forward. Because oftentimes, when we don't know who we are, we allow some things to happen that is not in the best interest of what we need to be doing. What he's saying. So many times when we don't know who we are, we allow our peace to be broken. We allow our peace to be disturbed. We allow our energy to be contaminated or tapped into, because we do not know who we are. But because if you know who you are, the first thing that you will be able to know that everything doesn't deserve access to your energy. I'm going to say that again. If you know who you are, everything doesn't deserve access. Somebody say access to your energy. Is anybody in agreement with me on tonight? Everything doesn't deserve access to your energy. So what I'm saying is, when you know who you are, you learn how to protect your peace. And everything doesn't deserve access to your peace. We all have been guilty of allowing people to enter into our peace and our energy and drain and pull on us and all that kind of stuff. We have allowed people to tap into our energy unannounced, uninvited, and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes when we go through their phase and allow people to tap in, we sometimes feel like, oh, you know what? I feel a little drained right about now. What is going on? Because we have allowed people to have access to our energy. But when you know who you are, everything doesn't deserve access to your energy, right? And not only that, not only doesn't everything have access to your energy, every conversation doesn't deserve a response. I've learned as I've gotten older and I'm getting older that everything does not deserve a response. Now, I know who I am, and I know how I can come, and how I know how I can react. But I've learned as I've gotten older that every conversation doesn't deserve a response. Sometimes silence is a response. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes silence is a response. Anybody believe that on tonight? That silence is a response. Sometimes you just don't need to say nothing. And just allow your silence to speak for you. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes, right, your silence can speak louder than your words. So when you know who you are, you learn how to protect your peace. Everything doesn't deserve access to your energy. Every conversation doesn't deserve a response. Not only that, every environment isn't healthy for your spirit. Right? So what are you saying? So what I'm saying on tonight, that I do not involve myself into every environment. I'm trying to help somebody on tonight because everything is not healthy for me. All right? Can anybody attest to that? Can anybody relate to that? Go ahead and let me know if anybody can relate to that on tonight while I kind of check what's going on over here. Can you relate to that? That every environment isn't healthy for your spirit. I got some hearts on TikTok. Can I get some hearts on Facebook? Every environment isn't healthy for your spirit. Has anybody just been sitting in an environment and then you just didn't feel right? It just didn't match up with your spirit because it's not healthy. And I've learned as I'm over 50 that as I'm evolving, that everything is healthy for my spirit. That's because I know who I am. Now, let me say this. Let me back up a little bit because I'm gonna take my time on this tonight. Because when you don't know who you are, then you are prone to anything. When you don't know who you are open to anything. But as you evolve, and as you become more mature in life and in age, or whatever you may want to call it, I won't say age, because just because you're older don't mean you're mature. But as you evolve, then certain things just don't mesh because you know who you are, right? Am I talking to anybody? Is anybody on here that as you have evolved, certain things don't mesh well with you, just like it did back when you were in your 20s? Some things just don't mesh with you as you did back in your 30s. Some things just don't mesh as it used to, all because you're learning to know who you are. So not only does everything doesn't deserve access to your energy, not only does not every conversation deserve a response, not only does every environment isn't healthy for your spirit, sometimes protecting your peace means choosing yourself without guilt. I'm gonna let that marinate just for a moment. Sometimes protecting your peace means choosing yourself without guilt. That's where a lot of us have the issue and have the problem, because sometimes we do things because out of guilt, right? And sometimes we don't want to put ourselves first because we feel guilt, because we have been taught that we look out for others more than we look out for ourselves. But we're in a time and period of our life where we should be able to put ourselves first and not feel guilty for protecting our peace because we're choosing ourselves. Can anybody attest to that tonight here on Facebook, over here in TikTok? We have been guilty of always putting others first before we put ourselves first. And the thing that we want to use and say on as we move into this area, well, I just like to help people, or I just been taught just to see about others before I see about myself. And what happens is that we are drained and we are overwhelmed, or we are burnt out because we have not learned how to protect our peace and choose ourselves first, right? I'm gonna just be honest on tonight. It didn't get to where, I'm being honest, I'm being transparent. It didn't get to where I was almost 50 to where I learned how to choose myself first. Y'all listening? And without guilt. Am I talking to anybody? Because somebody on live on tonight, whether you're on live or watching on the replay, you have always put others before yourself. You've always been the last one to eat, the last one to buy something for yourself, the last one to do this, and the last one to do that. And we have done ourselves a disservice because we put others before we put ourselves. And then when we try to put ourselves before others, we feel guilty about it. Now, what kind of foolishness is that? Can I get any conversations on tonight? Are y'all talking or y'all just listening on tonight? They listening?
They listening, but they saying, come on now.
So we have always done that. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. But because I'm learning and I've learned who I am and the value of who I am, I've learned that I've learned to put myself first. I see TikTok. Yeah, I see TikTok. So we're talking about protecting your peace. Protecting your peace doesn't mean, that means sometimes you just don't involve yourself with every activity that goes on, right? That means sometimes you just don't get involved in all the things that like you used to, right? And as I am building and as I'm building this platform and this business, everything does not align to where I'm going. I'm talking better than y'all saying anything on tonight. So I'm getting to the cooking part, but just hold on because I want y'all to understand about your value, who you are. Do you know who you are? And if you don't know who you are, then it's a good time in this season to know who you are. Right, TikTok? It's a good time. It's a good time. Because not only should you protect your peace, you should also walk in your purpose. Now, this is where we have the problem. Walking in our purpose. Because walking in your purpose, and I'm talking to myself, is not always comfortable. Right? Y'all saying, I know somebody saying, well, what that got to do with the cooking for tonight? Just hold on. I'm going to get there. Walking in your purpose is not always comfortable. It's not always easy. It's not always exciting. But walking your purpose, even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody understands the vision or what you're trying to do but you. Because oftentimes, the vision is for you and not for everybody else. Walking your purpose even when it feels lonely. And the thing about walking in your purpose, it will stretch you before it elevates you. I'm going to let that marinate just for a moment. Walking in your purpose will stretch you before it elevates you. Are y'all with me? I see the horse, but are y'all with me? So we're talking about knowing who you are, knowing your value. Knowing your value and not allowing others to dictate or put value on you that does not align to who you are. Are y'all with me? I'm telling you, I spent a lot of years of my life worried about people, thinking about what others may think and how it's going to react towards me or whatever you want to say. I've done that for a good portion of my life. I don't have a problem saying it because I'm at a point now I can care less what people think. Why? Because I know who I am. And when you know who you are and know your value and your worth, and one thing you got to know, when you know your worth, guess what? Then it looks like, let me just put this, let me throw this in here. When you know your value and your worth, it looks like to other people that you're being conceited. Y'all walking with me? When you know your value and you know who you are, what it looks like to others that you're being conceited, that you think you all that and a bag of chips and all that. It's not that you think you're a bag of chips and all that. It's not about all that. It's about you knowing who you are. And you finally came to the place that you're not going to tolerate any and everything. Why? Because you're going to protect your peace. You're going to protect your energy, right? And you're not going to be in every environment that's available, right? So sometimes you just have to learn how to say no sometimes, not go into that particular area, not go to that particular setting, because it does not fit where you're going. I'm going to let that sink for a minute, see if we have any questions come in. TikTok, y'all good over here?
No questions on TikTok. They just saying amen.
Right?
That part. Show you right.
So protect your peace, walk in your purpose, and be unapologetically you. Right? Be unapologetically you. What are you saying? I'm going to slow this down because I can feel myself going a little fast, but I'm going to slow this down. And if you don't stop hitting this fly swatter on this fly, be unapologetically you. So what are you saying, Jeff? I'm glad you asked. Stop dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. Are y'all with me? Y'all might need to take notes on that part. Stop dimming your light to make others, leave it alone, make others feel comfortable. I'm going to let that sink in. Because some of you will take the back seat in order for somebody else to shine and feel comfortable. Some of you would dim your light just to make others feel comfortable. I'm gonna just let that sit, because that's a powerful statement, whether you know it or not. Many of us, me included, have dimmed our lights to make other people feel comfortable. Or you dim your light because others didn't understand who you were. Am I talking to you on tonight? I see my sister Ava's on here tonight. So many of us have dimmed our light just to let me say it like this, just to help others to shine. Right? But being unapologetically you means you let your shine so the whole world can see who you are. But not only did we dim our lights, we start questioning everything that makes you different. I'm talking better y'all saying anything. You start questioning everything, this fly is taking over, everything that makes you different. My sister Avis is on here tonight, and I've heard her say many times on her lives and on her talks or whatever that she's different. She's unapologetically who she is. I love that about her, because as long as I've known her, she has been just who she is. I mean, you have to take it or leave it. It's just what it is. And so what happens is that when you're unapologetically you stop questioning the very thing that makes you different. God created you to be different. He didn't make you to be like everybody else. He didn't design you to be like everybody else. He did not fashion you to be like everybody else. So why in the world are we trying to align ourselves with somebody else and what they do and how they do to see if it aligns with your pathway? Right? And so I had to learn. I'm talking about myself now. I had to learn that I was different from everybody else. I was different from everybody else. I tried to fit in, but I just couldn't fit in. I tried my best, Shantae, to fit in, but I just couldn't fit in. Even now in this life that I live, I'm going to just go ahead and say, I'm always going to be churchy. It's just in me. I don't care what I try to do. I can listen to rap. I can listen to whatever. I'm always be churchy. It's in me, right? So, but what makes me different is just who God made me to be. And all I can be is my unapologetically self. Whether you like it or not. You don't like it? I'm slew-footed. You don't have to like it. It's who I am, right? So you got to be who you are. And you got to understand that there's only one version of you in the world. And that version is shown up enough. There's only one version of you in this world. Type that in the comments if you don't mind. There's only one version of me. I'm not duplicate. I can't be duplicated. Type it in the comments. There's only one version of me. It's only one version. It's only one version. It's only one version. They don't make them like me no more. Better yet, I'm just an original. When he made me, he got rid of the pattern. Now you may see somebody that looks familiar, but that's not me. They say everybody got a twin. I ain't got no twin. It's only me. And so you have to understand that there is only one version of you. And I'm going to say this. Stop asking people for their opinions about who you are. I'm going to say that again. Stop asking others' opinion about who you are. Because anybody can tell you, well, I think that this is you. This is who you are. But only God knows who you are, who created you, who he created you to be, right? And now it's for you to determine who you actually are. I was talking to a colleague today, and I said, you know what? It's crazy because I'm here in my 50s, and I said, I guess I have to accept some things for what it is, because some things you just live and you don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff. But I have to realize what God has placed on the inside of me. I realize now what God has stored in me. He has stored a lot of stuff that y'all have not seen yet. And so in order for me to be able to get to the level I need to get to, I need to recognize who I am, and I have to be able to level up to the person who God created me to be, right? So I got to get there, because there's so much within me. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning of the journey. Now, I may didn't get it a while back, but guess what? I'm on board now. Some of you the same way. You might didn't get it then, but you're on board now. So you ought to thank God and say, I'm on board, I'm on board, I'm on board, because the fact of the matter is that you got it. You may be a little delayed, but you got it. Right? Right? You may be in your 50s, but you got it. You may be in your 60s, but you got it. Right? Because the truth of the matter is that we all have allowed some things to affect us, or to take us to a place that we shouldn't be in, or the things that we know we shouldn't have been doing. We all been there. If somebody said they haven't, God bless you. Let me get your autograph, because we've all have been in some things, have done some things, have been in relationships, have been in certain environments that we know did not fit who we were. But how many know, thank God for Jesus, who can look beyond all our faults and see our very needs, right? So be unapologetically you, right? So that's what we're talking about. And then not only that, walk boldly. Walk boldly, move intentionally, and never apologize for becoming who you were created to be. Never apologize for becoming who you were created to be. I hear oftentimes people just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I don't mean no harm. Well, we need to stop saying it, because you don't need to apologize for who you are. You really don't even need to apologize for what you say, because what you say is what you say. I say it all the time. I'm getting to the point. I guess the 50 has, I heard my cousin Kim, she was talking about that 50, that's when you start living. I heard her talk about it on her live, and I guess at that 50 age, everything just starts to happen. Everything starts elevating. Everything just starts like whatever, you know. So as I got into this age of 50, it's no holds barred. Whatever I feel, and I'm not saying I'm being disrespectful, but whatever I want to say, I'm going to say it. Because I shouldn't have to put myself in a box to please people. I shouldn't have to compromise myself to please people. I should not have to dummy myself down to please people. And what I've discovered today, I had this conversation earlier. What I've discovered is that when I put this on myself, many times when people are trying to dummy you down, I had this experience. I'm just here to share the experience. I never forget, I just came into a new position. And we were talking about some things, and I shared my opinion about what I felt. Well, in that sharing, in what I was saying, and to the person who was leading the conversation, they looked over my comment. They looked over what I said. And what they did for me, they shut me down. But I had to discover the reason why you tried to shut me down is because you knew what I had to say had value. You knew what I had to say had some kind of power to it. And so I'm going to say to somebody out there, anytime somebody's trying to shut you down, they understand that whatever you have inside of you has power. Whatever you had inside of you has power, and it has a little strength to it, right, TikTok? So you have to understand that whenever you say something, because I'm just like Eve, but whatever I say, it has some power to it. Because I just don't be talking to be talking. So whenever I say something, look, just go ahead and listen, because I got a little wisdom on the inside of me. God has given me some little wisdom and gave me some little extra stuff on the inside. So anytime somebody tries to downplay what you say, they understand that you got power that they don't want nobody else to recognize. I'm going to let that marinate just for a minute. They understand and recognize that you have power and your words matter and people listen to what you have to say. And so they try to dummy down what you're saying or don't respond to what you say because they don't want nobody else to understand and see what you say. Does that make sense of what I'm saying? Give me some horse if that makes sense, because that's a powerful statement. So we're talking about value. Do you know your value? So we're going to move on to the cooking for tonight, because I know y'all ready. I know y'all ready for that tonight. We're going to move on to the cooking. And let me tell you, I'm being honest on tonight. What I was going to do on tonight, I was going to do a dirty spaghetti, but guess what? I didn't have everything I needed to do to get this dirty spaghetti. So guess what? What we're going to do tonight, because it's going to tie into the value, we're going to make some good old goulash. Does anybody know about goulash? Let me see if y'all know something about this goulash on tonight. Do y'all know about this goulash? And I'm gonna talk a minute about this goulash that I'm preparing and the value and the worth of the goulash. Are y'all with me? I'm tying this all in. I'm tying it all into your value. I'm tying it all into this dish. So I already got my meat. I already got it going and all that kind of stuff. Let me wash my hands and, wash your hands, and wash your hands. So the value of the goulash. The value of the goulash. So I'm going to let y'all prepare yourselves as I tie all this in with your value. Because the goulash goes far beyond the bowl. The goulash goes far beyond the bowl, right? And what we understand it to be, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. What we understand it to be, goulash is like an old, save the family meal in a sense. It's one of them old timing meals, almost like hamburger helper, if you will, right? So if you want something real quick, you'll go into the goulash. Does anybody know about the goulash? My moderator over here trying to kill flies, and I need him to be paying attention to the comments.
They just listen. You got all these flies in here.
So, the goulash. Let me just say this, and y'all walk with me. I'm almost through. And I thank you for your patience, because I had to get the first part out. The goulash is one of those meals that teaches you something powerful. What does it teach you, Jeff? I'm glad you asked. It teaches you that you don't need expensive ingredients to create something meaningful, right? It's teaching you that you don't need expensive ingredients to create something meaningful. We're talking about the goulash. So I've got my ground meat. Now what I did, because I was planning on doing something else, right? But I used what I have. Because what did I just say? Goulash is one of those meals that you don't need expensive ingredients just to be able to make something meaningful, right? So I got my goulash. I got my ground meat, and I got some Italian sausage in it as well. So I got me some Calvados seasoning on tonight. So Calvados seasoning. Then I'm gonna put in here to season it a little bit. Also, I got that good old, what do we got? Garlic powder. And I got some onion powder. Because why? You don't need a whole lot of stuff to make a good meal. Y'all with me, TikTok? I got my Calvados seasoning, I got my onion powder, and I got my garlic powder. And so we're just gonna let that simmer because we're talking about value, right? Everything is working together in this goulash because why? It has value. It may seem simple, but it has value. People may think that you're simple, but guess what? You got value. People may think that, hey, you don't have all that, and maybe you don't. But guess what? You got value. So we'll go ahead and finish this off. And the flies just want to have a party with us, but that's okay. And I'm putting in some onions and bell pepper on tonight in this goulash. So I'm gonna let that simmer a little bit. Let it get this thing going. Because why? This goulash has value. It's a quick meal. Don't take a whole lot of preparation, but it has value. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead. I have my noodles already going, and I'm gonna drain those real quickly. Because why? This goulash has value, right? It has value. So many times, oftentimes, we think that we always have to do something, like I said, elaborate. We have to do something fancy and all that kind of stuff, but it don't take all that all the time. So we have our ground beef. Like I said, I used half of Italian as well. I got my bell peppers. I got my onions in here. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. I got my pasta, my sauce. I got my seasonings all working in here. I'm gonna put a little Cajun Creole seasoning in here as well. Now, don't worry about what I'm putting in here. Just do it the way you want to do it. I know a lot of people still believe in Laura seasoning salt. So if you want to dash yours with Laura seasoning salt, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Also, I forgot to bring it out. I'm just going to put a little minced garlic in here as well. Just to add a little flavor to it, a little bit more flavor to it. So, just going to add about a teaspoon and a half of the minced garlic and work it all in there. Let it work as magic. Let it, as they say, let it marry together to where it gets all the flavor. Now, y'all know Straight from Caldwell's Kitchen talks about expressly cooking for your soul. That means I like my stuff well seasoned. I don't like it bland. I don't like it all that kind of stuff. I like my stuff well seasoned. Now, I don't mean salty, but I said seasoned. So I'm gonna let that marinate for a minute. But as I let that marinate, I want to give a shout out to my t-shirt lady, Miss Carlotta Davis, who at the last minute I said, you know what? I want me a Kitchen Talk t-shirt. And so she put together this for me, so I want to give a shout out to her on tonight. She did this at the last minute, but I appreciate her so much. So y'all give a thumbs and hearts for Carlotta Davis, rather, who did my t-shirt. And I love it. It's kind of a premium look, a little, y'all see it, how y'all like it. Y'all tell me how you like it. A little premium look, little exquisite look. So I appreciate her for doing that for me on tonight. So I got my meat going, all that kind of stuff. Have my bell peppers and my onions in there, cooked it to where it becomes a little translucent. And then I have now, look, what it say, use what you have. Value, knowing your value is just being who you are, using what you have. You don't have to, if you don't have but a high school education or whatever, you good. So I got me some good old Great Value. Because a lot of people say, well, it's all about what the brand. No, it ain't about the brand if you know how to cook. If you know how to cook, it ain't always about the brand. My mama used to always say, I can doctor it up to make it taste good. So we got some pasta sauce, tomato, basil, garlic that we're going to put in here. Now, if you want to use Ragu or some other brand, that's fine. Go ahead and do it, but we're going to use good old Great Value. Thank God for Walmart, right? So we got that going. Y'all with me? Y'all with me?
They love the shirt. They said they want one.
So everybody wants a t-shirt straight from Caldwell's Kitchen and also Kitchen Talk with JK. We go get that up and going. Now y'all say y'all want one. I'm gonna just put it out there. You say you want it, when it comes available for you to purchase, don't back up. Don't go into a closet and say, oh, it looks good. And then when it comes time, you don't get it. So I'm just putting it out there. So we're gonna look and see about doing some shirts and what have you. Straight from Caldwell's Kitchen and also Kitchen Talk with JK as well. So go ahead and get your corns ready. So I'm putting a little more pasta sauce in here. Probably gonna put all of it in here, but I'm just letting it work its thing for a minute. Like I said, it doesn't take much. So, like I said, don't diminish because it's goulash. Because goulash will take you a long way, right? It'll help you out when it needs to help you out, right? So it's built from simple things: meat, pasta, seasoning, sauce, thyme, and above all, it's built with heart. So when it all comes together the right way, right, it creates comfort, it feeds families, it does a whole lot of stuff. It makes you go to sleep. It stretches during hard time. It brings people to the table because it's goulash, right? So I got my goulash, my sauce here, got that. So I'm gonna drain my noodles. And so I'm gonna put this in here. I might not use all of it, but I'm gonna put a good portion of it in here. Look like I'm gonna use all of them. And let it do its thing. Now, anybody know anything like a pasta or spaghetti or whatever you want to call it? It does go a long way. It makes a lot. So we go have, look like we go have goulash for tonight, tomorrow, Sunday,
we're not gonna be eating that
Monday. We got goulash for days.
No, sir.
So we gonna put a little onion powder, and then we can't do any kind of pasta dish, especially spaghetti. We got some good old Italian seasoning. So I'm gonna put that in there as well. Don't ask me how much I'm putting in there because I don't know. As some people say, just let the ancestors tell me. But my mom, when she cooked, she never measured anything. And so that's just by how I do. I don't measure nothing. I just let it do what it do. And then if it tastes right to me, then I let it be. So any good cook or any cook, whether you're good or not, hey Stacy, whether you're good or not, every cook should be able to taste. I don't care how good you say that you can cook. Anything I cook, it's just gonna turn out right. The devil is a lie. You need to be able to taste your food before you serve it to people. Now, if you just don't want to do it for yourself, that's fine. But I'm going to taste it and see what it needs in here, right? And it tastes pretty good, as it is. Now, let me say this, add this in for the people in the back. Once you taste this off this fork, don't put this fork back in there and taste it again. Man. Get you another fork or wash this off, right? We got the amen corn over here in the corner. So I'm just going to add in a little more seasoning. And then I'm almost through with this, right?
Like you said, I wait for the ancestor too.
Yeah, the ancestors will tell you. Believe it or not, you know. You really do know. So let me just go and finish with this value of the goulash. The value of this goulash, it represents resourcefulness, creativity, culture, survival, and most of all, it represents love. And not only that, it's making the most out of what you have. So many times you don't need to have anything elaborate. You don't have to have anything that's just gourmet all the time. Can you tell me sometimes, won't you just make something simple? Because I like doing all these little dishes and stuff. He says sometimes, well, just make something simple. So what I'm gonna do, but before I finish, I'm gonna just use my same jar. Y'all know how to do it, y'all country. Y'all know how to do it. You take the same jar, get you a little water, put in there to get the rest of get everything in there out. So just pour it off in there and let it do its thing. And there you have it. And guess what? We almost ready to eat. Does anybody have any questions before we plate this? Anybody have anything?
Stacy on her way to come get her bowl.
We're talking about the goulash now, the value.
Now coming to get your bowl.
Oh, come on, Stacy. Some of the best meals, and y'all can testify to this, some of the best meals don't come from luxury. It comes from passion and it comes from purpose. Y'all better hear me. Some of the best meals don't come from luxury, but it comes from passion and it comes from purpose. That's what, to be honest, that's what Straight from Caldwell's Kitchen is all about. It's about passion and it's about purpose. It's about creating dishes with love, not just throwing stuff together, but creating it with love. That's what it's all about. And if you create it with love, guess what? The people they go taste it. They go taste the love. They go see that you took your time to put this together and make sure that through every bite that they taste, there was love in each bite. Not only that, they can taste the flavors in each bite. They can taste the seasoning in each bite. They can taste everything that they needed to taste in your dish. All right? So, while my moderator is still attacking flies,
I can't. Not plant-based food.
So what we're gonna get ready to do, we're getting ready to plate this. Does anybody have any questions on tonight? You need me to go back over anything that I used on tonight?
Mary says make sure you bring her a bowl tomorrow.
All right. So I'm getting ready to plate this good old goulash. It don't take long if you know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, it shouldn't take long. Because all you got to do is read the instruction. If you don't know how to cook. So let me wipe this bowl off. This slide said I want to be a part of the thing, which is fine, but not tonight. So I'm gonna let that down. And then you can just, you see TikTok and Facebook, there's your goulash. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna top it with some good old Parmesan cheese. That's just what I want on mine. I'm sure Kendra would want the regular other cheese. So, and you just make it do what it do. That's all you got to do. You don't have to, it don't have to be all that. Just make it do what it do. Quick meal. Quick meal, quick meal, quick meal. So the whole purpose of this was to show that even the simplest thing has value. Don't despise little things, because little things become much when it's placed in the master's hand, right? So don't despise small things. Don't despise little things. Don't despise things that you think are too small, because it's not about the size of it. It's about the value that it holds. And to everyone that's on this live, whether you're watching a replay or whatever you're going to be watching, however you're going to watch it, you have value. And if you don't know you have value, let this be a start to where you look and do research on yourself, do an inventory on yourself, and then you ask God, show you where you have the value. And I guarantee you, if you ask him, he will show you. But you got to want to know, right? So don't ask your friends, don't ask your loved ones, don't ask your neighbor. Ask God to show you the value that he has placed in you. And when you get that word from God, or get that answer from God, guess what? I'm going to tell you what's going to start happening. You're going to start evolving. You're going to start shifting. You're going to start changing. Then your environment is going to start changing. Not the environment, but your setting, your people you deal with, it's going to be a little strange. It's going to be like, what's going on? It's all because you're realizing who you are and you know your value. That's a word for somebody on tonight. We are in 2026. Long gone are the days when we continue to do what others want us to do. Long gone are the days where we continue to put ourselves last and put everybody else first. Long gone are the days to where we sit on the dock of the bay. That's one of my favorite words. What's that statement? Sit on the dock of the bay waiting for our ship to come in, but we're not doing anything to try to get on the ship, right? So we got to be able to be about our business, know our value, and make sure that we don't allow anybody in our environment to disturb our peace, disturb our energy, take away from our energy, so that we cannot be what we need to be in this season, right? So does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts on tonight? Before I log off, I told you I was going to be a little longer on tonight than I have been, because I wanted to get this out. So let me give it a time, because I just went right on into a whole nother sentence. So we have any questions, thoughts, comments? I thank everyone for joining on tonight. I thank you. I said, I know there's a lot of things going on tonight, but I thank you for the faithful people who are on tonight. Appreciate you so much. On Monday, there will be a drop. Once again, if you want to get in. Send me an email. Say, I want to get the whatever it's going to be on next week. And then by Wednesday, make sure you pay. Order and pay. Order and pay. Put that in the comments. All right? We have any questions, babe? Or anybody got any thoughts, comments, concerns, whatever?
No, they just said that's real talk, JK.
All right. Well, thank you once again so much for joining. I appreciate you. Know that the best is yet to come for you. And until next week. Well, let me say this before I log off, because I forgot all about this. I got so excited. I'm really excited because from what, 4 weeks ago, right? 4 weeks ago, I started this journey to put myself out there. So it has been almost at least 30 days, right, to where I have been on this journey. The 24th will be 30 days that I have been on this journey, stepping out into the unknown, seeing what God is going to do, and letting God to do his thing in my life. So I'm grateful for it. I've been consistent. So if you keep seeing me if you've been seeing me on my timeline and you've been saying, oh, he posted a lot, guess what? I'm operating in purpose. So in order for me to operate in purpose and to be where I want to be, I have to do the things that I'm doing at this time. So thank you once again, everybody. Y'all have a good night, good weekend, be safe, and see you on next Friday.